to pray, teach us to pray. Teach us to pray, teach us to pray. Teach us to pray, teach us to pray for your kingdom. Teach us to pray, teach us to pray. Teach us to pray, teach us to pray. Teach us to pray.
Well, all right, family. All right. I think we're in here. I think it's okay. We're going to run through this as fast as we can and see what we can do, see how we can make this happen. Okay, so first things first, federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for the purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, parodies, which doesn't infringe on the copyright, under 17 USC 107. And always as we go through this, we always want to say we want to keep our heads down and our hands up. Thank you so much, family. Thank you so much. We men are always to pray. We should be speaking to ourselves in songs and hymns and spiritual songs. We should always be praying. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Keep your heads down and your hands up. We need to be searching these scriptures daily, and we need to be making sure that we stay on top of this. You know, the days are evil, the days are wicked, and the times that we are in, and so we want to be searching these scriptures daily and keeping our head in them. And so, while that is the case, let me say hello to your family. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. Glad to see you. We had to come up in here. You know, I had some things happen today, and because those things happened today, I'm messing with my belt pack here, trying to get it on so it doesn't fall off. Because those things happened today, I wanted to come in here and spend some time. Now listen, if by chance, I'm also recording this just in case, and trying to monitor at the same time. So if by chance we should have some dropouts or what have you, I will be going back and re-editing this video and then re-upload it. Just depends on how it comes out. So as it's going live right now, I am recording it, and we'll see what happens. I'm just going to go through this because I got some things I want to touch on. Some things happened today, and I really want to go through this. Now, forgive me, I'm not wearing my normals. They actually broke on me, and so because they broke, I have to get off into another pair of eyeballs, and so we're going to move on that. I want to talk about a few things, but before we do that, I'm going to face the east, and I'm going to ask the Father to come and bless. So, Father, hallelujah, hallelujah. Father, in the name of your...
So as we go through these things, and this is something else that I was saying, we are recording as we go through. So we're talking about word to your mother, educated ignorance. And we have individuals who are supposed to be teaching our youth who are educated, but they're ignorant of the things that have gone on in our society, which socially engineers our children and even socially engineers them. I hope this audio is coming across. I am recording this. This will be edited. I saw my audio dropped out. I had to go into the settings and turn on a whole different setting. You know, this is fallen angel technology. This is not our technology. And so when we come together and we want to bring out something that is really crucial, that's going to help the family, then we start to get a lot of problems going on in the system, and we see that. I've seen it here. I've seen it on other channels. I've been in other rooms when teaching has been going on. I was at Kanye Shua when their whole stream dropped. I was at the House of Israel when all their audio dropped out for no apparent reason. And we don't have cheap gear, guys. You know, I mean, a lot of us have invested a lot of time and money into gear to be able to come and do things like this. And I've had this recording set up for a long, long time. And I can be doing anything else and everything will work just fine. But the moment that I come in here with something that's really relevant and pertinent, something that may do damage to the enemy's kingdom, this is when we get these kind of attacks, because scriptures tell us that, you know, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and rulers in darkness and high places. And though some of those high places are in the ethosphere, where the internet dwells, because it's out there they're in the zeros and ones. It's not anything tangible that you can touch, and that's where they kind of dwell. That's one thing. We know something else that we talked about, being aware of the AI that's coming, because this AI will be able to reach out and touch you in all different forms, in print, in radio, the internet, coming through your television, smart TV. So we want to keep things like that, especially your television. If your kids are sitting down watching that, you want anything coming through that touching your kids. So this educated ignorance. I have some notes here I want to talk about it. I met this lady today. Too many people say that they believe. Hold on, turn down some audio here, some distortion a little bit. Too many people say that they believe in a God, okay, and they'll call it God. They'll call him God. They'll speak to the fact that it is God. They will say, I believe in God. I believe in God. But then when you start pointing out all the different things, as far as like, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, I don't believe in that. You start pointing out different things like, your son is a sodomite. And the Bible talks about, the scriptures talk about, how they will have no place, in the kingdom. Oh, I don't believe in that. But wait a minute, you just said you believed in God. So I know Elohim, I know Yahweh, I know Yehoshua, I know those things, but I know you know God, and I know you know Jesus, but you pick up the scriptures and you say you believe in God. And I often ask, which God do you believe in? I can never get a straight answer because they don't know what God they believe in. And when you start to explain to them that there are multiple gods, and there were gods that were given to the nations, Israel was only given the Most High God. He said, I choose them for myself. The nations can have all the other gods. Okay, so when you try to get them to understand that there's a determination between the capital G and the little g, they don't want to hear that because they think that God is God. And see, that's an indoctrination. So when it comes right down to it, you realize that they don't believe. They don't believe. And it's just something that they say. So they crack the car up against a brick wall and they cry, oh God, help me, I don't want to die. Okay, well, who are you calling on? See, because you still haven't identified which God you're talking to. And any of them will answer you, because they're all God, right? But you have to call them by name and be specific. He knows who his children are, and he knows that his children are not here just any old person. And so you find out that people don't believe, it's just something that they say. I met this woman today, and she was telling me that she had just got hired to teach at a local college. And so, in talking to her, I asked her, was she ready to influence some young minds? And she said yes. She told me that all the courses she was going to be teaching, and I'm reading from my notes here so I can stay on track, all the courses that she was going to be teaching. And then she, out of the blue, she mentioned that she was just glad her son was alive. So I'm thinking, okay, so that came out of nowhere. What's wrong with your son? I'm thinking, right? I didn't say it out loud, right? And then she was talking to me. It seemed like they had some challenges. And I'm checking to see if I can get this because I'm trying to monitor at the same time. The monitor is not monitoring, but it's okay. I'm still recording. This is just sitting here. And please stand by. It should have already gone further through. It hasn't, but that's okay. I will pull it up on the phone. Give me just a moment. Let me get this up over here. Make sure that actually monitoring because you can see there's that. And turn this down. And let's see. Now that wants to come up. So anyway, where's the one? We're having difficulty all the way around. And so anyway, I'll keep messing with this as we go, but it is being recorded. So I'm not going to worry too much about that because I am recording it just in case it doesn't come across the way that we want it to. Then we will at least be able to. Oh, you know what? I know what I want to do. Give me just a second, buddies. Give me just a second. Go to the settings. data is unlimited and the Wi-Fi is not on, so it is data. And so I can't figure out why it doesn't want to track, but we'll figure that out. So as I was talking to her, she was letting me know that she was having some difficulty with her son. And so since I understood that they had some challenges, I said to her, some things, and she said that she was just glad her son was alive, as if her son was having may have had some challenges as far as maybe wanting to end his life due to the fact that he was having some sexual orientation challenges. So I started speaking to her on a different level to try to show her that science has proven that there is no gay gene. And I think when I did my DNA, I went over that, and in the video where I showed my DNA, I showed that also they had just finished doing the report, and this was like 3-4 years ago when I did this, maybe, that they had just did the report, and the report indicated then that there was no gay gene that said that anyone was gay. They didn't have that information, and they were still doing the research, so it was there. And when I did my DNA, it was already as a part of that. Okay, and so she just said, then she said, well, because when you say, I'm glad my son is alive, and then later on she quantified it by saying, trans, girl, boy, I don't care, I'm just glad he's alive. So then that said to me, okay, so you have a son that feels like he's a girl, or says he's trapped in a man's body and he's a female or whatever. And so then I said, well, do you believe in God? Yeah, I believe in God. I said, so do you believe God makes mistakes? Well, no. So then it means that your son was born a son, but he's trapped in a girl's body, so there was a mistake made. So so I'm trying to lead her, to use some gray matter and think about this. So if you believe in God and he didn't make a mistake, then what happened with your son? What happened? So your son is a son. See, either he made a choice or God made a mistake. What was it? What do you believe in? And so we were trying to have this discussion, and the difficulty of the discussion was that I couldn't get her to pin down what it was that she truly believes. And so because I couldn't get her to pin down what she truly believes, she was dancing around the subject and dancing around the subject and dancing around the subject. And so I'm trying to bring you back into staying relevant with me in the subject, and she wouldn't do that. Okay, but you're about to be a college professor. Okay, you're about to go and influence some young minds, like you just told me. You're ready to influence some young minds, but you won't lock in on what truth is. All right, so either you're going to be a college professor that lies to your students, or you're going to be a college professor that tries to invoke some sense of morality and thought processes to make people think and not just follow the herd and be told what to think. Okay, so she said, I'm trans, girl, boy, I don't care, I'm just glad he's alive. So now I'm leaning on okay, you got a son who thinks he's a girl. Okay, and so since I knew that you had a son who feels he's a girl, I told her about the study that Harvard had did saying that there was no gay gene. Okay, so now I had already did my DNA, and so I knew about that. And I said, but science has already proven there's no gay gene. I don't believe in that. I'm like, you don't believe in science, or you don't believe in Harvard? Which one? Because Harvard put the study out, but Harvard is not the only one that did the study. Harvard was, I think, one of the first ones to publish a paper indicating that there was no gay gene. They hadn't found a gay gene. But so what is it that you don't believe? What is it? Do you not believe Harvard, or you just don't believe that there's a gay? What is it? You're about to be a college professor, so I'm trying to nail her down, and she's dancing. I'm telling you, she's dancing left, dancing right. She doesn't want to be pinned down, and I think it's because she's realizing that every argument that she's raising I'm killing it with questions. I'm killing it with a real question. And I'm not trying to kill it. I'm not trying to make her feel bad. I'm asking her solid questions, but every question that I ask her shoots down what she just said. Okay, so then as I told her, I said, well, there's a study that was done. I said, and Alex Jones did this years ago. He did it years ago. So whether he's right or whether he's wrong, I'm only focusing on the study. There's a study that was done that turned boy frogs into girl frogs. And when they put girl frogs in the tank, the boy frogs didn't even want to be bothered with the female frogs. They were still only wanting to be with the boy frog who had just turned into a female. Okay. And so she said, I don't believe that. I said, it's population control. I said, so I said, how are you going to get a grandchild? Your son is not going to produce, it's population control. He's not going to produce a grandchild. And so I couldn't say if he's packing peanut butter with his boyfriend. Okay. So, because I was I wasn't trying to, see, I'll say that here on this platform. You're not going to have, a boy duck and a boy duck create, laying eggs and creating baby ducks. It's just, everything after its own kind. It takes a male and a female. The male has the sperm. He is the fertilizer. The female has the egg. She's the receptacle. The sperm goes into the egg, creates a fertilized situation for a baby to be born. Same thing in the human species. In any other species, it takes the male and the female. So if you have two males together, there's not going to be any offspring. That is population control. Okay, you have two females together, they're not going to produce any offspring. It's still, so you have a woman who, say you have two girls who are together. One of them will come out of the relationship for whatever role it is long enough to be able to be artificially inseminated and play the role of the mother. And then when it's done, they go back to doing what they're doing. Now they can produce a child, but one of them had to be inseminated by a fertile sperm. Something had to fertilize her egg because the other female couldn't do it. The other female has eggs also. So you can't have egg on egg or sperm on sperm. You need sperm and an egg. Either way you go. I don't care if it's girl, girl, boy, boy. You still need girl, boy in order to make it happen. So if there's no guy that's in the relationship, you still have to go somewhere and get artificially inseminated. They will put sperm inside of an egg and then they will stick that up in your uterus and let you carry that baby. But you, in your, I don't want to be with a man, but you still want to have the benefits of the offspring of a man. Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so anyway, so I told her about that series that was done on the boy frogs, and she did not. She said she didn't believe it, and I said, okay, that's fine. You don't have to believe it, and I'm trying to go there now. So just give me just a second, family, because I really want to show you this. Now let me go to where is it? Okay. All right. So there's some things that we're going to look at. Okay, and when we get there, we're going to just go over these things. Now, I was in here setting up my screen. Everything is out of whack right now, and I'm on the laptop. I'm not on the desktop today. I'm doing a couple different things because I came home and I wanted to get into this with you and just show this to you. But I want to show this to you so that we can see this, and I want you to look at this with me. Okay, look at this. A common herbicide turns some male frogs into females. Okay, this is from Scientific American. This is a credible magazine, okay, and with credible articles about science. This is Scientific American. You can look this up. Go to scientificamerican.com/article/common-herbicide-turns-male frogs into females. This is an article. This article was written October 30th, 2008. So this is nothing new. I'm not telling you anything new. This is something that has been out for a while, and it's widely known. But they know that the public doesn't read science journals, and they know that the public is not going to go and hear different things like this. So you probably won't get this if you don't read this. But a common herbicide turns some male frogs into females. One of the most widely used weed killers, atrazine, may be disrupting male frogs' sexual development, even reversing it. Okay, now this was, oh, I'm sorry, this was done by David Belio on March 2nd, 2010. The World Without Frogs, Combined Threats May Croak Amphibians. That was October 30th, 2008. It's one of the side articles, so I read the wrong date. So let me correct that. It is by David Bello, Biello, on March 2nd, 2010. The bountiful fields of the U.S. are awash with atrazine. Some 36 million kilograms of the odorless white powder are applied on farms to control grassy weeds. Some 25,000 kilograms of the herbicides fall with the rain each year, sometimes up to 1,000 kilometers from the source. All that atrazine may be having another effect, turning male frogs female. As described in the March 1st proceedings of the National Academies of Sciences. So here we go. This is March 1st, okay, and this is March 2nd, 2010. It doesn't say the year so far. It just says described in the March 1st proceedings of the National Academies of Sciences. Biologist Tyrone Hayes, sounds like a Hebrew, Tyrone Hayes of the University of California, UC Berkeley, okay, by the way, which is up here by me, and his colleagues exposed 40 African clawed frogs. So Tyrone might be a Hebrew, right? Xenopus laevis to 2.5 parts per billion of atrazine in a water solution continuously for 3 years, a level below the 3 parts per billion allowed in drinking water by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. As a result, 30 of the frogs were chemically castrated. Okay, see that right there? Now, this is a level that's allowed in the drinking water by the EPA. And as a result of that, 30 of the frogs were chemically castrated. See it right there? So I'm highlighting it for you so you can see it. Okay? They are incapable of reproducing, among other impacts. And four of the treated frogs actually turned female. Hold up, let me do this. 4 of the treated frogs. Now, 30 of the frogs were chemically castrated. They lost their testicles. Okay, see that? 4 of the frogs lost their 30 of the frogs lost their testicles, and 4 of them became female. Oh my goodness, I feel like a girl. Atrazine, it's in the water. Okay. Now, going so far as to mate with other males and produce viable eggs despite being genetically female. Despite being genetically female. Despite being genetically female. Now, you want to tell me that this has nothing to do with your son feeling like he's a girl. Oh my goodness. Okay? Now, I'm not done. We're just at the top of this. Okay? Now, you want to be a college professor, okay? And you want to go and influence young minds. But you say, I don't believe it. But you won't do the research. You won't go and look and find out if what I'm telling you is true. I don't believe it. Just automatic. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So you don't believe in the scriptures. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, let's go on here for a second. Okay, I don't want to look at this, all right? So we had 4 of the treated frogs, okay, that's right here. 4 of the treated frogs turned female. They went so far as to mate with other males and produce viable eggs, despite the fact they were born genetically male. Okay, now, whereas another 4 of the treated frogs apparently resisted atrazine's effect, the rest lacked male reproductive behavior, had reduced male features, and severely reduced sperm and low fertility. The key may be aromatase. okay, a protein that spurs the production of the female hormone estrogen, causing originally male gonads to become ovaries, and whose production is spurred by atrazine. Plus, the researchers used frogs bearing only the ZZ sex chromosomes of male African clawed frogs. In previous studies, if we got hermaphrodites, there was no way to know if they were males with ovaries or females with testes, Hayes says. By using all ZZ males, we were assured that any hermaphrodites or females were indeed sex-reversed males. Frogs follow the ZZ male, ZW female sex determination scheme rather than the more familiar XX female and XY male pattern in humans. Okay, so in humans we have an XX female pattern, and in males we have an XY male pattern, and in frogs we have a ZZ male and a ZW female. Okay, so now, when you're doing your genetic research, you have to have a male with a Y chromosome to be able to chase down your paternal line. Otherwise, you're only going to get the mother's line because you have an XX and an XY. So an XX, I just had a cousin recently reach out to me who's designated as a first cousin. But I don't know if she's a first cousin. I think she might be the next generation down, maybe a second cousin. But her DNA hits right up against mine, and I haven't seen a DNA hit that close. So she said she was adopted, and we did lose some children in the family, so to adoption. So I'm going to be going down that road to see if I can help her chase down who her dad may have been, because even he may have been adopted. But when you get a hit like that, and so I told her, I said, you know, do you know if you have any brothers? Because you're going to have to be able to see what you can find out about your dad. If you can only go down your mother's side, it's a long shot. And from the DNA, that might make it a little bit difficult. But if you can go down your dad's side with a Y chromosome, then we can maybe get a little closer to just where the family might be and pick up, because she was adopted. She's trying to find her family. But her DNA matched mine, and so she's reaching out to me to see if there's something that I can do to try to help her find out who she is. And the reason why I did my DNA in the first place is because my dad would not tell any of us who we actually were, in regard to going past him to his father, great-grandfather, and so forth and so on. Okay, so this is something we can look at in the DNA. We know we got the XX in the females and the XYs. Okay, so that's just one article. Okay, here's another one. Pesticide turned male frogs into females. Okay, so we see this, right? Pesticides turn male frogs into females. Okay, this is from Live Science, and this was done March 1st, 2010. Okay, this is by Rachel Retner. So Live Science is supported by its audience, and this is, I guess this is an internet, livescience.com. Okay, but here it is right here. They're showing you a picture. That's boy on boy. The pesticide atrazine can turn male frogs into females that are able to mate and successfully reproduce. Here are two male frogs mating. Okay, tell me that's not sodomy in the animal kingdom. Okay, that's how wicked these heathens have become. They're messing with the animals. Okay, now this is the thing. This is the kind of thing that got the earth washed away in the first place. This is the kind of thing that made the flood of Noah occur. Okay, you say you believe in God. Okay, I don't want to hear that. You say you believe in God. I don't believe that. You say you believe in God. I ain't trying to hear that. But you're gonna be a college professor. You're gonna go and try to influence some young minds. But you don't want to do the research. You don't want to go and look and find out that your son may be affected by chemicals in the water. And this is what I was trying to explain to her, you know, that they've done the research. This is 2010. Okay, we're almost 2020. It's almost 10 years ago. Okay, so I mean, this happened 2010, right? We're going into 2020. It's about 10 years ago, right? And Alex Jones was talking about this before that, long before that. All right, you can call him a crackpot, call him whatever you want to call him, but he was talking about this long before 2010. I know because I watched Alex Jones, and I studied a lot of stuff out of what he was saying. Did I agree with everything he said? Absolutely not. But I listen to people, and then I go and I do my own research, and I find out for myself. So since I knew this, this is when Mike and I started filtering our water and started getting spring water, and so we started getting into vitamin supplements to get the heavy metals out of our bodies. We started. There was a lot that we started with. I changed my diet. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that happened, during this time. Right around that time, I had my stroke. Right around that time, I was changing things up because I had already done the research. But just like everyone else, I'm reading, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm doing the research, and my stroke hit. Okay, time to change some things. Got to change a lot of things, So, so here we have. This is it right here. Look, we got an article that's showing you 2 male frogs mated. 2 male frogs. That's boy on boy. One of them became a girl. Boy on boy, and here they are doing the filthy McNasty, frog style. Okay, and it's kind of doggy, right? Here's 2 male frogs mating. The larger animal on the bottom has been completely feminized by atrazine exposure and can reproduce viable eggs. Okay, the image is by Tyrone B. Hayes at the University of California, Berkeley. Okay, Big Mama on the bottom used to be a man. Okay, and is now a girl. So I'm at work, and I walk into my establishment, and I see a perpetrator, a Decepticon, right? You look like you could be playing for the Green Bay Packers. Okay, and I'm not even trying to be facetious on any level, right? The Packer looks like he could be playing for the Green Bay Packers. Okay, now I don't know, but I don't want a woman with shoulders wider than mine. Okay, I don't know, but I don't want a woman with a man's face looking at me. I don't care how long your hair is. I don't care how much makeup you got on. I can look at you and tell you're a man. Now, some men might like that. I can name some, even celebrities. I'm not even going there. Something recent just happened with one of our Hebrews who says he likes, says he's trans attracted. Looks like a woman, smell like a woman, feel like a woman. Hey, just might be a woman. Let me get some of that. And there are some out there. I tell you, when I was in Hollywood at Motown, out on Sunset Boulevard, where Eddie Murphy got caught, where Teddy Pendergrass got caught, where little Randy Jackson got caught, where a lot of celebrities got caught. I can tell you, out there on Sunset, it's hard to tell. Them boys look like girls. So we had a way of finding out, with a DC. But now, if they can go get the operation, you can't even get a DC, right? Because now they're giving them permission to, once they get the operation, to change it on their birth certificate. So the DC don't even work. Change it on the birth. You can't even say, "Let me see your birth certificate now." Because pretty soon all the birth certificates are going to say this person is female or male. So the only thing you can do from that point, is we need to go to the doctor and see if you got some ovaries, because they still can't put a uterus in a man, and they still can't turn testicles into ovaries. But they're getting awfully close. If they have this atrazine, which is doing this to frogs, that means that they are on their way. And in a minute, you won't be able to tell, except for the fact that this person is still, because a man, his body genetically just can't, he won't be able to pass a baby through a canal. His hips aren't built for that. They'll have to be doing C-sections all day long, when they get to the point where they can put a uterus in a man. But the doctors will tell you scientifically it's impossible right now to put a uterus into a man in order for that person to end up having a child. But there's articles right there. Okay. Now, I want to talk about something, just because we're actually here now dealing with this. Okay. And because we're here now dealing with this, we got to talk about it. There's just no way we cannot talk about this. We got to get into it, because you say you believe in God. So if you believe in God, then that means that you are going to be at least at one point listening or reading the scriptures. The problem with this is that if you are not an individual who will pick up the scriptures for themselves and read them for themselves, and you go just to a church and you sit down and listen to your pastor or your priest, you might even be Catholic. And when you walk into a Catholic situation, half the time everything is done in Latin, so you don't even know what's going on, right? So if you're in a Catholic church, you know, which is still the mother of Christianity, I'm sorry, you might not believe that, but it is. If you go to church on Sunday, then you're Catholic. You know, it doesn't matter what denomination you are. If you go to church on Sunday, you're Catholic. That's the Roman Catholic way. If you pray to Mother Mary, pray to Saint John and Saint Luke, of course you know you're Catholic, right? But or if you're praying a rosary or whatever. But if you have any of the Mother Church's ways, which is the mother of Christianity, then you are still Catholic. Okay. So we're going to look at something here real quick, and let me just make sure that we're locked in. See, none of this stuff is where it's supposed to be. So that's okay, because I'm changing it on the fly right now. Just because. And I was coming through here just to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be, and it isn't, and that's okay. Lock that down. Let's do this. See, this isn't even on. And it's supposed to be, but that's okay. That's okay. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. So you say that you believe. 1 Corinthians 6:9 says, "Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim?" Or this Bible says God. Okay, and you notice that the God is not even capital O-D, is capital G, little o, little d. So that's not even the Most High. That's just the kingdom of God. Okay, be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. Now you can go and you can look up every one of those words. We're only going to be concerned with a couple of them. First of all, I want you to understand that a fornicator is a male prostitute. A harlot is a female prostitute. Now, a fornicator is a male prostitute. To fornicate is to have illicit sex, right? Fornication is having illicit sex. Okay, lasciviousness is is things like reading Hustler magazine, watching porn, those. So you can look these words up, right? So fornicators are male prostitutes. That's men who sell themselves off as men or even as women. Okay, and we're going to be dealing with effeminate. Effeminate are men who have feminine ways or who act like females. That's what effeminate is. Okay, so now I know you don't believe me. I know you don't understand. And so what we're going to do is we're going to continue on as we have been doing, and we're going to look at more, because I'm doing my research. We're going to look at more evidences of what we're talking about, so that you can have the evidences that you need, because most of you don't believe what I'm telling you anyway. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at the first one, and the first one here is a definition of effeminate. Let me get that for you. Here's the first one, is the definition of effeminate. Okay, that's the definition of effeminate. Stay with me now. The word, this is effeminate. Okay, you can see it here. This is from vocabulary.com. Look it up. Do not take my word for it. Please don't take my word for it. Look it up, find out for yourself. The word effeminate is used to describe a man or boy with characteristics that are more often associated with females. Now, that's what effeminate means. Now, we're reading this in English, okay? And I know that some of you still are going to have a problem with that, and that's okay. I totally get it. I totally get it. So because some of you might have a problem with that, I want to look at this in a little different way. Okay, so 1 Corinthians. Let's see. Hold on. Let me go back over here. Let me go back over here. Let me go back over here. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. All right. So since I know that that's going to be an issue for some, what I want to do is to do this. Now, let's get in here. Let's take a look at that now. I want to make sure that you are going to be able to see this. So we're going to do it like this, okay? And then we're going to do it like this, right? And I want you to look at the word fornicators, okay? The fornicator is, okay, let's go back over here. I'm going to look at it this way. Fornicator, okay, in the Strong's Concordance, okay. Now here's all your definitions, okay. See that? A male prostitute. To sell, right? It's pornos. It's where we get our word pornography from, right? Right here. It says it right there. Pornos. See that? Pornos. That's where you get your word pornography from. It says to sell, akin to the base of G. This is Greek. G means Greek, H means Hebrew, 4097, which is the first is reduplicated and prolonged form of the second, which occurs only as an alternate in certain tenses. So let's see. To traffic by traveling, that is disposed of as merchandise. So yeah, you as merchandise or into slavery, literally or figuratively. So merchandise, you sell merchandise, right? A male prostitute. A prostitute is someone who sells themselves, right? So the word is not off. That is, by analogy, a debauchee, a libertine, a fornicator, a whoremonger. Okay, that's what this says right here. Okay, this is your Greek. This is your Greek breaking it down for you right here. A fornicator is a male prostitute. Okay, I told you that. I've been knowing this for years, right? So I'm sorry I had to break it to you. But that's what a fornicator is a whoremonger. A whoremonger is not someone who goes out and chases whores, okay? Because the whore is the fornicator. The whore is the prostitute. So a whoremonger is the person who puts themselves out there as the whore, okay? The fornicator is the male prostitute. He's the whoremonger, okay? The male prostitute is the whoremonger, okay? And that's what the scriptures tell us. That's where we are with this. Okay, let me break this down so we can go back. Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to bust anybody's bubble. I'm trying to bring some clarity to what we're looking at, okay, and how we can understand what it is that we're looking at. Because we do need to understand what it is that we're looking at. You just can't go off looking at something and not know what it is that you're checking out. Okay, and that's the reason why I'm going through this, because this woman who wants to be an educator. This woman tells me that she has a son who, girl or boy, I don't care. I'm just glad he's alive. Okay? I don't care if my son is a girl. I don't care if my son is a boy. I'm just glad he's alive. Do you know that your son is not going to have a place in the kingdom? Do you know that the Most High God of Israel, the God of the universe, the creator of the universe, is going to kill your son? Because your son is an abomination to him. It's wickedness. He does not like it. It is an abomination to him. We'll get to that, okay? But I want you to know that your son is already dead. He's walking dead if he doesn't turn himself around. Too many times, some of these people who have been trans have realized who they are, and then they decide that, oh, I need to straighten myself out, and then they go back, but they've already had these surgeries in the whole nine, and like, well, what am I going to do about all this? How do I reverse all of this? Well, the money that it took to put you there, it's going to take some money to put you back. You know, because in your head, you're still your head. You're going to answer for what you did to this body, okay? You are a living soul entity inside this body. It doesn't care how you feel what you want your body to be. And then you change your body from what it was created to be. And that's what you're going to answer for, because you are not a creator. You do not get to change anything about your body. The same way you don't get to take your life because you can't give life, you don't get to change your body because you can't create a body. You can't just out of the blue create a body. You can't. There's only one person in the entire universe who can do that, and he's already done it. And now you flipped it on his head, and you're gonna pay. You're gonna answer for that. Okay? And he says that in his kingdom you have no place. So if you say you believe in God, you just obliterated all your chances to even be in his kingdom, because he says you have no place in his kingdom when you do these things. And this is what effeminate is, okay? That you have the characteristics that are often associated with females. You were once teased for your effeminate, high-pitched voice. Now you're a world-renowned singer, okay? So you're effeminate, all right? You don't want to believe that is exactly what it says it is, but it is, okay? So let's look. So now let's look at thesaurus.com, because this was vocabulary.com. Let's look at thesaurus.com. Effeminate, okay? They even tell you how to pronounce it. Let's see if it'll. Sometimes I can't get those to play, but that's all right. It's an adjective. It's of a man having traits, tastes, habits, etc., traditionally associated or traditionally considered feminine as softness or delicacy, characterized by excessive softness, delicacy, self-indulgence. Okay, this is, listen, affects, effectual, effectually, effectuate, effeminacy, effeminate, effemination, effeminize, effendi, efferent, efferent duct. Okay, listen. It's from the 1300s to the 1400s, Middle English, Latin effeminatus, equivalent of F, which is F plus fem, means woman, atus, 8. See, female. Okay, look at effeminately, effeminateness, effemination, uneffeminate, right? So all of these things tell you, so that's not enough for you. That's just not enough. I know that's not enough. You need more. You just need some more. So how about this? How about we go to Wikipedia? Now, we don't trust Wikipedia for everything, but look at this. Effeminacy is a manifestation of traits in a boy or a man that are more often associated with feminine nature, behavior, mannerism, style, or gender roles rather than masculine nature. Behavior, mannerism, style, or roles. It is a term frequently applied to womanly behavior, demeanor, style, clothing, and appearance displayed by a boy or a man. Okay, that's Wikipedia. Okay, let's look at Webster's dictionary. I know, because you just haven't had enough yet. Let's just keep looking. Okay, so effeminate is an adjective. The definition of effeminacy: having feminine qualities, untypical of a man, not manly in appearance or manner, marked by an unbecoming delicacy or over effeminate art, effeminization. Okay, how many times do you see homeboy walking down the street? Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Swinging this blasé and the sachet. How often? Okay, so let's see here. Did we get that? I think we got to that. That's Scientific American. Okay, so effeminates, we got that, right? I think you got that. I think there's enough for you to see that. You can go along and you can find out for yourself. I've given you some places to go and look for your thing to find out about your son sashaying and blasé, about the pesticides that the atrazine that turns boys into girls. Okay, so I want to just touch on this for just a little bit more. Okay, and let me finish up with these thoughts. Okay. After I told the lady about the study that science had proven there was no gay gene, that you are born, you're born that way. And see, here's the thing: the kids, they are. When somebody who is gay turns around and tells you, "I was born this way," they're actually telling you the truth. They are. They were born that way, and here's why. Mike and I did the research. We've had the studies, and he studied on his side. Michael Gray, my nephew, and he's done the studies. Okay, and you can argue with him all you want to, but you can argue with a man with a master's degree. If you don't have a master's degree, and I've told you about Mike. I watched Mike. I stayed with Mike. I hung with Mike. I hung out with Mike. Well, Mike went from homelessness to a master's degree. Okay, so neither one of us are uneducated. Neither one of us are stupid. Okay. I don't have the master's degree. I didn't stay in school for that, but we're on the same level. We think the same, we talk the same, the whole nine. He's just younger than me, and he knew that in order for him to go past where I went, he needed that piece of paper. So I watched this man go from homelessness to a master's degree. Now, if you want to argue with somebody with a master's degree, you're going to make yourself look stupid. You can sit down and argue with me all you want to. I don't have the degree, but when I pull in my reinforcements, right, who's going to be telling you the exact same thing and giving you the references behind it, backing it up with his degree, you will look quite stupid. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I told her about the study on boy frogs and the science has proven that there is no gay gene and that you are born that way from genetic modification. Okay, so here's what happens. The mother is pregnant, and so the drugs and stuff are in the food that she's eating, and it's in the water that she's drinking. So the baby who is in her uterus is already taking this in, and the baby is being developed. And if it's a girl in there, she's being genetically modified to have male traits and thoughts. Same thing for the son. Okay, so the son, either one of them come out and they're born, and you're looking at them, and I heard somebody say, I knew from a child when I was looking at her from baby, I knew she was going to be like this. I had one of my friends say this about her daughter just recently, you know, and I said, well, I know how your mother raised you, and I know your mother came out to church. That's not how you were raised. Okay, I know how you were raised, but I also know that this is in the food and this is in the water. So by the time you got here, you were genetically predisposed to go this route. You didn't have a choice because it was already planned 25, 30, 40 years ago before your mother even conceived you, that this was going to be the generation that this would happen to. They had already had this plan. It's a part of population control. Okay, for the countries that would not get their families to be a part of the population control agenda, like get on birth control or start using condoms or anything like that, those are the countries that we beat up in war. Korea, Japan, you know, those are all the countries that we beat up in war. You can go back and do the research and look at it yourself. So you don't want to reduce your population? Hell, we'll help you reduce it. We'll help you reduce it. Drop a few bombs over there, knock a few 100,000 people off, a few million people off, you know. And then by the time you come around to get on board with us and we start practicing our ways, eating our food, following what our science does, you know, now we'll have you right along with Planned Parenthood and everything else that goes on in our agenda. Okay, so just go back and look. You know, wars are done to reduce populations and offer up a blood sacrifice to the demons who require it. This is a spiritual thing here. This is not new. This is a spiritual thing, and it always has been, right? And if you don't look at it that way, you're going to miss the whole thing that's going on behind it. This is a spiritual war, right? Now, the spirits are pointing at a particular people, and they're wanting to take off particular people. But when they require a blood sacrifice, they don't care who they get the blood from. They want a blood sacrifice. Now, they do want our blood, but they want a blood sacrifice. Okay, and so that's why Planned Parenthood is in. You'll mostly find it in Black and Latino neighborhoods, so that they can knock off Black and Latino babies, right? They need that blood sacrifice. We already talked about what happens to the fetuses and the way that they're chopped up and used in various different products and natural flavorings and Coke and Pepsi. I kid you not, look it up, right? You could be drinking your nephew that your niece just went and aborted. You just don't know, because that's some of what they do. When you go and get a flu vaccine, right? They have stem cells that they've taken out of aborted fetuses, Black and Latino, that they put their vaccines and stuff into the cell, then they shoot that into you, okay? It's an abomination for us to have that stuff in our bodies in the first place, okay? The scriptures tell us this, but you don't believe in God, right? So as we started talking about this, I'm telling her that while you're pregnant, you know, the food you ate and the water you drank genetically did this to your son, so your son was born this way, right? And since you weren't paying attention, I don't believe that. I don't believe, okay, fine, don't believe it. But you're the one with a trans son, and you're not even willing. You want to be a college educator, but you're not even willing to do the research and figure out how it happened. See, 2 generations prior to you, this wasn't happening. You didn't come out this way. The generation prior to you didn't come out this way. But then there was a generation when it started happening, and from that generation going forward, it continues to happen. Are you not even trying to wonder why? Are you just going along with the program? And you want to be an educator? She said, I don't believe it. And so, as I said to her, you're going to be an educator, and you won't even prove all things. But you're going to go in here and you're going to teach these young minds what you think you know without even looking at any available data before you decide that it's right or wrong. And she kept saying, I don't believe it. Okay. So that's all I got for you, family. That's all I got for you. And I wanted to bring that out and give that to you so that you can see what's really going on, because this is what's going on in our community. We are being messed with genetically in a way that we don't even realize that we are being messed with genetically. So I want you guys to all understand that you need to filter your water, you need to eat raw foods, you need to eat as unprocessed as you can. You know, I went to go buy some seeds, and they said that they were heirloom seeds. See, I read packages, but it said it was disease resistant. Okay, an heirloom seed that is disease resistant has been tampered with. Okay, because if it resists disease and it resists bugs and everything else, that means that they've already gone inside the seed and turned off something that will keep it, that will keep the bugs from biting it, or turned on something. They turn off one thing, they turn on something else. So if this fruit is disease resistant, I want a plant that a bug will get on. I want that plant. That plant does not have any genetic modification being done to it, right? If the bugs are not eating on your plants, you do not want to eat those plants. If the bugs are not attacking them, the plant has a natural way of protecting itself. And if you go in there and you turn off its natural protection and make it resistant to Roundup and everything else, that means you need Roundup to spray on it so that the bugs won't eat on it. Because if you spray Roundup on a plant that's not Roundup resistant, Roundup will kill the plant. So they make it resistant to Roundup so that the bugs won't get on it. No, give me the plant that the bugs are going to eat, and I will figure out of my scriptures what I need to use to spray on my plant to keep my plant healthy from the bugs. The bugs got to eat too. I don't mind sacrificing a couple of tomatoes if I can get, I can't eat them all. But this is when you're in an economy that is so capitalistic that it wants each and every tomato off the plant. I'll sacrifice a couple of tomatoes to the bugs so the bugs can get theirs. So as long as I get some tomatoes too that haven't been tampered by the bugs can't eat them all. See, there's a balance in the universe. There's a balance in nature. And when we take away the balance, then everything else goes sideways, right? If you're so busy eating up the catfish, you're so busy eating up the crawdads, you're so busy eating up the shrimp, right, that the waterways are polluted. Their job is they're the garbage trucks of the rivers and the oceans. They're there to eat up the waste. But if you are so busy scarfing them down and eating them, then they can't even do the job they were created for. Therefore, our waterways are all messed up. So this is how we get to where we are now, where our children and those who come behind us are effeminized and masculinized. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that there for you, family. I hope that you got something out of this. I hope it matters to you in a way that it matters to me. I'm gonna leave it right there, and I'll see you later.